Hey, I'm James, and welcome to Alternate Sides, a podcast about movies, parking, and a 25-year friendship. Today we're getting into Todd Haynes' 1995 drama Safe, starring Julianne Moore. It's the tale of a woman finding her way out of illness, but is the cure worse than the disease? Along the way, we also talk about Emmy nominations, my upcoming psilocybin journey, and how bad Sam is at running. Here we go. Whoa! First things first. Congratulations, everyone.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Before you get to first things first, we should explain, should we not, why I'm in my house?
We'll get there. Congratulations, Arnold.
Is that right?
Yeah, because since the last time that we recorded, you have been nominated for 3 Primetime Emmy Awards.
Three Emmy nominations.
3 Primetime Emmy, not the shameful news and documentary awards, but the big time.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know if they're Primetime Emmy Awards. They're not Primetime Emmy Awards. That's what the actors get.
Why must you denigrate yourself this way?
I think it's creative arts. I think we're called creative arts. That's what we're
Creative Arts Emmys. Okay.
Yes, the Jinx got nominated for 3 different categories, and I seem to have managed to have been in all 3 categories. So
now you do yourself a disservice because you say you seem to have been included as though you sort of wandered in from the street when you spent a few years on it.
Well, the truth is that I was on the project for so long that I'm very, I was deep involved. And so, yes.
You say if you stick around long enough, you begin to accrue additional titles.
Credits, exactly. I started as an editor, then I was a writer, then I was a producer, and here we are.
Well, congrats. So you got the juice now. You're going out to LA, you're going to take some meetings. It's so exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. It's an exciting time, James.
Yeah.
I mean, as I've told you before, and I have to stick with my guns, I guess, on this, grown-ups giving each other awards is a bit silly. But it's nice.
As long as they're being given out.
As long as they're doing it. I mean,
it would be rude to.
I can't really argue.
Well, so now you're in the sweet spot of a few weeks between the nomination and the awards ceremony, where nobody cares that you're 3-time Emmy loser, Sam Neill, in 2 weeks from now. So
I'm the Schrodinger's cat. I have neither won nor lost.
You've got to ride it all the way. So that is delightful and well-deserved and long overdue. My hat is off to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, you're not in your car, and it's not the daytime. You've loaned your car to somebody.
I gave our car. We used the car a lot recently. It's been a fun time with the car. I came home one day and I got one of those letters. I don't know if it's the same in Pennsylvania, but here you get something like, from the Department of, I don't know, traffic violation, something, government, some bullshit, right? And I was like, oh, what's that? So I open it up and it's a speeding ticket.
Ooh.
I was going 40 miles an hour in a school zone. And so Wilder immediately laughed at me. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. I didn't recognize this address. And then Wilder said, oh, that's when Terry had the car.
Wait a second. Terry got you a speeding ticket?
Yeah, so
this is like Ferris Bueller. Terry is driving your car in school zones at 40 miles an hour?
Fast as well. No, what's even better is that I kind of have a chuckle. I was like, all right. Margie was like, well, what are you going to do about it? And I was like, I don't know. It's $50. Whatever. What am I going to do? Go get Terry $50? That's Terry. It's fine. It's kind of the brand. Like, that's what you get with Terry. You get a guy who fixes your car, but he also might drive it, So then the next day, I get another letter. It's another speeding ticket the following day in like 3 blocks over. So this time I was like, mate, he's taking the piss. So I walk over to him. Margie's like, you got to have a word. I walked over to him. I was like, Terry, I got these speeding tickets. And he just chuckled a minute. Oh, yeah, right there by that light. I know. And I was like, 1, I was going to let you go with. But 2, Terry, that's $100. He was like, yeah. He's like, I've not got it, though. You'll have to come back some other time.
But no explanation of why he was driving your car around?
That's not to be debated. He just was like, He likes it. He's told me how much he likes the Subaru.
Okay, so well, okay, but Terry doesn't have the Subaru right now, though.
No, so now we learned that his son are going camping in the Adirondacks. So he's zipping around with the Subaru somewhere.
So we're here to discuss the movie Safe.
Safe.
Safe, directed by Todd Haynes, starring Julianne Moore and I guess it's Xander Berkeley is how you would say his name.
Oh, is that the husband?
Yeah. It's set in 1987, and I thought it was an interesting choice to set it in 1987 instead of just 1994 or 95. But it's about this woman, played by Julianne Moore, who's a homemaker, as she describes herself. And she's quite extraordinary in this, Julianne Moore.
How old is she? This was early. Is this what put her on the map? I think so, right?
I think so. She's in her late 20s, maybe.
Wow.
We had this when I lived with our dear friend Matt Galkin. He and I were what do you don't say flatmates in this country? What do we say? Roommates?
Yeah, roommates.
We shared an apartment. We shared an apartment on Bleecker Street. This was the first year out of college, maybe the worst year of my life, 1994 to 1996 inclusive, the long worst year. Anyway, we had this on Laserdisc, and I never watched it because it was too scary, of course. But because the image on the Laserdisc is like not even of Julianne Moore. It's of that
Lester.
Yes, it's of this like very disturbing person like a kind of a hazmat suit, and that really put me off. And it just goes to show you that that your poster image selection is key. So she plays this homemaker in L.A. in a well-to-do area. And she begins experiencing these symptoms of, I guess we would call it environmental illness now. The chemicals in the air and in the fabrics and all around her start to make her sick. And she becomes increasingly ill. And I don't want to... I feel like
this is exactly what's
summary.
good about the film, because is she ill or is she not ill? Well, she is obviously ill.
She's definitely ill, but the thing is, like, the cure is as bad as the disease. I think that's sort of part of it. But anyway, so she gets more and more ill, and then she hears of this place called the Wrenwood Center, which is a sort of new agey retreat out in the countryside. And she goes there. But what happens is she sort of ends up worse than she started in a way. Her isolation envelops her in a way that's it's impossible really to encapsulate, which I guess is maybe what. So I don't know where to start. You start.
Well, I think one of the things that you're immediately identifying in your description is the illness is so ambiguous. So to me, the illness is not. She thinks, because she sees on TV, oh, there are other people. It's like fumes and chemicals and the environment's a 20th century disease, right? And so she associates her problem with that. And so she latches onto that, and that becomes the disease. But to me, the disease is sort of a late 20th century Western anguish about your life is meaningless. And that can take many different forms. And so what's interesting, I think, and what's really beautifully done in the film is that it's so ambiguous in terms of she clearly is having seizures and nosebleeds and suffering, lesions by the end of it. You know, she's clearly physically unwell. But what the source of that unwell is never clear. And what's interesting, as you say, that the cure, this Wrenwood place has all the elements of a slightly culty, you know, the guy who I guess is suffering from AIDS, but seems to live on the big mansion at the top of the hill, you know. So and she's very well to do. Like, that's the other thing. Like, she's very well off and, like, you know, extremely kind of lives a life of great luxury, but it's quite empty.
Has no connection to anything. Like, they have a son, but it's her stepson.
Right.
And she's not that close with him. And then she's a homemaker, but they have this staff. They have this, you know, maid, housekeeper, whatever, who does all of the work. Yeah. So there's not really much for her to do. And her one connection I thought was interesting is with the flowers, right? She does keep the garden, and she keeps going out into the garden at night. And I think that's one of the things that's interesting about the Wrenwood Center, which is this New Age place, is that it's not really
Not nice.
like a, yeah, it's not, it's like a trailer
It's a
park.
desert. It's out in the desert.
But it's not even like a return to the earth and to
Right.
what's natural and organic. There's still like plastic everywhere, and
It's all about, well, because ultimately, right, the best version that you can do is this like porcelain igloo, which he ends up in at the end of the movie. Like that's the best you can hope for, is a sealed off little porcelain sealed room. I mean, how rubbish is that?
it's pretty sad at the end.
It's very sad. I think this movie is a real gem. I think it's my favorite of Todd Haynes' movies by quite a long way. I wouldn't say I'm a huge Todd Haynes fan. I don't like a lot of the movies that people like of his. I'm not a big fan of Carol, although a lot of people love that. Margie loves that movie. I really like the Bob Dylan movie, except maybe for the Richard Gere bit.
Don't tell your aunt that.
It's the only bit she'll watch. Um, I think this is like the kind of movie, again, I'm saying this a lot, but this is the kind of movie that doesn't get made today. And it feels to me like a really very well made piece of work. It's got an idea and it's beautifully executed, and he makes so many good decisions
Hmm.
in this movie. Like you just feel like you're in such good hands. It's such well crafted storytelling, simple.
Yeah.
So like, and but the shot selections, the way it's the music, the performances, the sound, and the way it builds, I think, and bigger than all of that, he obviously had his finger on something that became, I think, much, much more like to have made this movie in 94, 95, I guess. Is that
Yeah.
when yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty remarkable because like it doesn't feel 30 years old at all. It feels
Hmm.
like more relevant. And we're not seeing movies like this, but we are seeing the amount of plastic that we could. One other told me that we consume a credit card's worth of plastic a week.
No, no, no. That
Seems
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 crazy.
like a
Yeah.
lot, but he did fact check it for me. That seems like
But
an
I
enormous
read the
amount.
other day about some percentage, 0.5% of people's brains are plastic right now.
I mean, you could definitely make the argument that we are in way, way, way worse shape now than we were in 94, 95.
Well, Todd Haynes also directed Dark Waters, right? Was that what it's called? The Mark Ruffalo movie about the forever chemicals,
Oh
and
yeah, I
it
didn't
came
see
out a
that.
couple of years ago. This is very good. It is so smart though, and it's about something. And I listened to an interview that he did at the time,
Hmm.
and he's so thoughtful about it and so intelligent about what he's trying to do and about not making this character the sympathetic center of the story.
Yeah.
There's really a kind of a nothingness to her. And he talks about even Julianne Moore's like voice is very like off the
Yeah.
vocal cords,
Yeah.
like almost like a little girl, the way that she's talking all
Yeah.
the time. And the sort of wide, almost Kubrick like static shots that can create this feeling of like not being close to her. But one thing that he said that was really interesting, I thought, about this New Age Center, and it made me think of you, is that it's some of the ideas are okay, but it's this ideal of this sort of like institutionalization of the
Yeah, yeah,
spiritual.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly right. I mean, it's what I love about it is it does, yeah, it does put its finger on this thing of some of what you're saying makes sense. Of course, we should be more connected. Of course, we should let love into our hearts, and of course, we should embrace positive changes
Mm.
in ourselves and in our environment. And of course, we shouldn't breathe fumes in all the time. Yes, but the way you guys are saying it, and then when you sing it with that kind of Joni Mitchell
That's
shit,
amazing.
oh
I
God.
thought of you immediately.
Oh God. Like, get me out of here.
Well, so the
Like,
reason I thought of you is because, well, I had a few, actually, I thought of you in a few different ways. But one of the things that this place does is it says, like, basically, the answer is in you. That you don't love yourself, and that's why you're sick.
right.
And that's why you're suffering like this. And at the end is her looking into this mirror and saying, I love you.
Yeah.
I love you. I really do. And
It's so dark.
and there is a kind of victim blaming there, You know what I mean? It ends up being not about the environment, but
Well,
about
but is it victim blaming, or is it that they're acknowledging that it's not all about the fumes? I kind of like
mm,
that they're saying, yes, this is an environment you're all suffering. I was surprised that that was in there because it's you would expect this place to really just talk much more and rely much more on the detox element and say, here's the deal. Those people out there, they're creating pollution and they're creating terrible things, and it's making some of us who are hypersensitive very sick. And so what we're here to do is take away those pollutants. It's not your fault. But actually they're saying a bit more than that. It reminded me, I don't think you've seen it, like The Vow, the Keith Raniere, Nexium, the cult.
oh yeah,
This is
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
sex,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
If you watch Keith Raniere, some of what he says makes sense. Now, happened to be turning it into like a sex cult, banging everyone, that part, and
Mm,
then branding people. But some of his basic like notions of like you can have agency over your own life,
yeah.
and you can, I can understand why that would be appealing, and why people suddenly get in there and they get energized and they feel like, yeah, this is actually working. But then it's a slippery slope from that to, okay, now give me that agency. I'm the
Right,
one who can
right.
help you, or I can sit at the center of the circle and heal you, or tell you exactly what you have to do in order to be better.
Then it has to be done this certain way. Women sit on this side, men sit
Oh
on this
yeah,
side.
fuck off. Silent breakfast and lunch? Fuck off.
So there's a lot of misogyny in this movie too. I mean, maybe that's part of their, like when she goes to see psychiatrist or the
Yeah, and
doctor.
the doctor gives the husband the psych.
Yeah,
I
the
thought that's a
doctor
great
gives the
moment.
business card of the psychiatrist to the husband instead of to
Yeah,
her. She's sitting right there.
yeah.
And there's a bunch of different things
Well,
of,
it's also all this thing of the men are working and they've built the mansions, and meanwhile the women do nothing but eat lunch and go to baby showers and give each other gifts. Like they do
I
nothing.
mean, one of the things that did make me think of you though, which is that the idea that these places all sort of are built on a premise that balance and that harmony and peace is actually attainable by us human beings. And that sort of made me wonder why you're so well balanced and seemingly not suffering from a mood disorder,
But I think a lot of it is
because
to do with being comfortable. The difference between me and you is that I'm comfortable in my failures. The difference between me and Margie is the same. Like
I feel failures.
I'm very comfortable in my shortcomings.
Is
Um,
Margie comfortable in your shortcomings? I
I
don't
don't know
know.
if Margie's come. No,
Yeah.
she's not. I don't think she is because she is always with me and with Wilder. She has this desire to improve, and with herself, she spends so much time working on herself and do. I don't do any of that. Not
And
because
it shows. It
not
shows.
because I think I'm there, but because I don't care to be there. I just don't. I think where we are is fine. We had this conversation about shame, like with my cousin and stuff. We are talking about like, people who like when they wake up and they've drank too much, the shame of having done something like
This is
that.
what Kingsley Amis used to call the metaphysical hangover.
Exactly. I don't
Yeah.
have the metaphysical hangout. I just have the physical, like, oh God, I don't feel well. But I don't feel like shame. Why would I feel shame? I did it. It's over, and tomorrow I'll do it again or I won't. It's up to me. Who cares? Move on. Get on with it. Get on with it.
Yes, this is what it's going to say on your gravestone. Get on with
Just
it.
get on with it.
Yeah. But this idea of the institutionalization of the spiritual and made me think of a lot of the conversations you and I have had, and the idea of like there's nothing wrong with rock climbing and there's nothing wrong with whatever, scuba
Right.
diving or these other things, bike riding.
Yeah.
But when we make them into these artificial versions of
Yeah. I
that,
don't like
you
that.
don't like that.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't want to do it. I don't even care if I just don't want to. Don't make me do that.
You would go for a bike ride though. You'd like
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah. I like my.
But you wouldn't get on the Peloton with me for
No,
45
what's
minutes.
Peloton is so stupid. I would if it was the only way I could exercise, I guess, and it made me feel good. I understand, like it's in your house, it's convenient. I understand the reasoning behind it, but it's not bike riding.
That's true.
You know,
That's true. Yeah.
it is hamsters on a wheel at that point. It's like when you see the beautiful the silhouettes of the Equinox gym and like Friday night at 9:30,
Oh
and you
yeah.
see all the douchebags in incredible bodies running on the treadmill. I always feel so sorry for those people. You should be out having a pint.
Well, maybe they find pleasure in being in good physical shape. I don't know.
Maybe. That's again something that I don't know anything about, but I'm kind of like, oh, well, I do. I mean, I try to run. I went running this morning, not very well, not for very long.
Not very well. How does one run badly?
Oh, you should come with me. I'll show you.
I did see you once. We were in LA
That's
together.
right.
Yeah. And I went out for a chirpy early morning run. And as I was coming back, I saw you were sort of lumbering along.
That's
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
That's it. I do a heavy-footed lumber. That's definitely my style. And after about 15 minutes, I'm so just over it. Like, just when will this end? Speaking of which, I'm just gonna get another drink.
Oh. He's back. One of the places in this interview that Todd Haynes, he mentioned that he had gone to a couple of these like New Age retreats type places. And this is in the 90s, so who knows what they were like. But one of the places he went to is Kripalu. Have you heard of that?
Yeah. Why have I heard of that?
I'm not sure. It's in Lenox, Massachusetts, but I'm going to be going there in a couple of months.
God. Wait, for a retreat?
Well,
Oh God. Here we go. We've lost him. That's it. That's it, folks. Enjoy it while it lasts. James Levino has gone over to the
it's not for a
dark
treat.
side.
To tell you the truth, I'm using it as a kind of home base because I'm going up on a sort of off the books psilocybin journey that somebody who works there is going to facilitate for me,
Oh, that sounds like more fun.
guide me on.
But you don't have to be silent.
No, I don't have to be silent for that. I do think they have silent breakfasts there, but they have a lot of stuff that doesn't speak to me, to be honest. There, sort of like how when I described that spa stuff in Miami
Oh, yeah, yeah.
that I went to. But you know, I'll do some. I do yoga 3 times a week now, basically, and I'll try some other stuff. But there's definitely some like. What was the one? I'm going to look this up right now. This might take a second.
What's psilocybin? So you're going to do the psilocybin? So how many times do you do it? What does that mean?
It's one thing. It's like 6 or 7 hours. You start in the morning, have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's medicine.
And then run towards the tumor.
Oh God, no. Why would you say such a thing? What does that even mean?
That's the Michael Pollan thing. The woman, he talks to the woman, he talks to this woman who was a cancer patient, and she does it, and or maybe psilocybin, or it might have been acid, but it was one of these, and they or ayahuasca, whatever. It's one of those, and they're going in, and every time she does anything, she sees this sort of black, angry mass that she's like gets really scared of, and she runs away. And finally, the lesson by the end of it, I mean, this is massively simplified, but the thing is that she has to go towards it. And as she goes towards it more and more, she's okay. And she like sort of has this total turnaround in her entire relationship to her disease because of this.
I'm very curious, and I think it probably won't surprise you, definitely won't surprise you, that letting go and going towards it is going to be the part that I want to really just focus on, which I'm a lot better at that kind of gesture now than I was even a few years ago.
Right. But that's what I've always said about like people who don't know how to get stoned. Like you've got to embrace it. You can't just be pushing it away. If you want to push it away, why would you do it?
Here's a thing being offered at Kripalu this week: loving touch couples Thai massage.
That's a different place.
I think you and Margie should try that.
That's the motel by Niagara Falls. I know that place.
Anyway, so I'm looking forward to that, but breakfast will be silent.
I'll bet.
Which I could definitely get behind. I wish I could institute a silent breakfast in this house.
Exactly. Breakfast should always be silent. What's the old Oscar Wilde line? Only idiots shine at the breakfast table. I'm very much in favor of that.
Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, it was funny when I saw it in the movie, and then when I heard in this interview him mention that place, it seemed kismet. It seemed serendipitous.
So this movie's good, right? You loved it.
I really enjoyed it, and I felt it was ahead of its time.
Yeah, I think so too.
And
Very prescient or prescient, however we say that.
indeed,
I totally agree, and I think yeah, I do feel like I wish we got to see movies like this more.
yeah, they don't make them this way anymore. You wouldn't be able to. He said it was $1 million budget.
Yeah, and I'm sure it was hard to make then, and he was
Very hard, he said.
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But you know, Christine Vachon's still making movies, and Todd Haynes is still making movies. But it does, and Ted Hope and James Schamus, like there's a lot of big A-list kind of talent behind the camera on this. But there was an ambition to make something that was interesting and thoughtful and thought-provoking. And it's a movie for grown-ups. And I just wish that we had, I just do wish that there were more of those being made in this country, because they are being made around the world. But in this country, it's hard.
It has a subtlety that I think would be hard to achieve if you made this movie today.
Yeah. I also found like it's well done in that this is what I mean about good choices. Like, you know, when the scene where she gets in the car, I think it's a cab actually, they get in the cab and they go to Renwood or whatever. It's got this real like energy to it. The music kicks in and you got this big overhead kind of helicopter shot of the car in the desert. It's a wow, and
Yeah.
they're driving. And it's like you get excited. Like it's not if you describe the movie, you just think of it in terms of the disturbing
Hmm.
nature of it. But it's actually it's very like high stakes. It's very exciting, the movie.
Hmm.
It's not boring in any way. It's very exciting. I don't know. Yeah, I do think it's really, really good. Um,
The score is really good too. It has this almost like sci-fi quality to it, almost. Really,
and Julianne Moore, she's very, very good. And what's his name? Peter Friedman, right? Is the cult leader.
he's very good because he's not, again, he's not cartoonishly insidious,
No.
but he's definitely not. You just know he's not totally on the up and up, and he lives in this mansion. And apparently, this is something interesting that to the Julianne Moore character is at this very scruffy Renwood Center, which is out in the desert, and it really is like has a trailer park kind of quality to it, rusty screen doors and whatever else. But at one point, her husband and stepson come to visit, and they're walking in the evening, and they look up on the hill, and up on the hill is this massive, beautifully lit mansion. That's where Peter lives, and they sort of mentioned it was, well, so they shot that, but they didn't. He cut that out of the movie apparently.
Oh, really?
But then after showing it to some people, I think he decided to put it back in because I think he felt like they were too sympathetic to him or something.
Yeah.
And he said that he wanted to play with that. That's part of the reason why he made the character with AIDS, was to like get the audience.
Right.
The audience would be like, well, this place can't be bad. Look, they're one of the people in charge is a person of color. And there's
Yeah.
this man who's, living with AIDS and whatever. But actually it's not so. There's definitely an insidious quality. And I don't know if we bring that to that culturally, having seen all the movies and knowing all the stories, that you're just waiting for the cult leader to say, why don't you come up to the house later and we'll work on your, that kind
I
of thing.
just I just think there's something so like we all know what it is, like that double-edged thing of like if your friend says, I met these people, and they, it's really interesting. Like what they're saying really makes a lot of sense. Like they're saying.
Mm.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about as well is the idea of safe. I think it's another sign of how ahead of the curve he was by calling it safe, because it seems to me that safety is something that the next generation after this film has become very, very concerned about.
Yes.
And it actually, it's something that we're now, right now, going through we're in the post-DNC convention, Kamala Harris thing. Safety is a word, and being the right to safety is
Mm.
something that they are playing hard
Mm.
because it speaks, I think, to this like Gen Z dislike of discomfort and assumption that everyone should have that right to protection and safety from the environment, from other people, from other
From
opinions,
offense.
exactly, from
Hmm.
anything that might push against your bubble. And so in the end, everyone is going into their own little porcelain room like she does at the end. And I think that was another thing that made me think how brilliant this is. Like we are seeing the logical conclusion of this sort of anxiety play out now.
That is totally interesting. And I mean, I just want to say up front, like, we sound like such middle-aged Gen X.
That's it. I think that we are. I think that's what we
But
are.
I don't know if I told you this, but Liv, who's now 19, was just a staff member at her camp, and she said that she was hanging around with these like 13-year-olds, whatever. And one of them, Liv made a joke, and one of them said to her, "Oh, that's so Gen Z."
That's so
The idea that even Gen Z now is like seen as like this old, and she found it quite destabilizing. But that is interesting about safe, because of course, the only true way to be totally safe is to be hermetically sealed off from life. This is the thing about universities, right? You're supposed to be able to, I mean, sort of the point is this kind of
Oh yeah.
to Socratic, antagonistic, like, let's one side and then the other, and let's duke it out, rhetorically, and let's try and see what comes up. And you can't have any enlightenment without this kind of friction and this, thesis antithesis, right?
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. No, I mean, we've talked about this before. Margie just started teaching again, and it's very difficult, I think, teaching actors, because if you're an actor and you don't wish to be uncomfortable, then there's a good argument to suggest that you shouldn't be an actor.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Before we pivot to movies from 1996, I should give you an update on my film scoring project,
Oh yes,
which I wrapped up.
but you're done.
I'm wrapped up and I'm done, and I think it'll be on Amazon in the spring of 2025. They want to release it close to the trial of the suspect, and who can blame them? But I think, in just as a matter of fairness, I should relay that after some quite frustrating logistical hiccups at one point, it became really enjoyable, and the team was really great. And I actually think it's a very, very strong series. It has a compassion to it and a humaneness to it, which is really moving, I think.
That's good.
Movies from 1996.
All right.
This was the year that I lived on Bleecker Street. A lot of interesting movies, a lot of good movies came out that year. Independence Day.
I don't think I've ever seen Independence Day from start to finish. I've definitely seen the White House getting blown up. I've seen lots of it. I don't know that I've ever sat from A to Z and watched
It would probably be a fun thing to have a few beers and watch and laugh about. Fargo. Train Spotting.
Oh yeah, big ones.
The English Patient.
I like that movie a lot.
These are all movies I've seen, by the way.
You might be surprised how much I like The English Patient.
Great book. I read the book. I saw the movie. Designed by Molly's mentor, Stuart Craig. Always like to mention him. Jerry Maguire. Bottle Rocket. Let me guess. Wes Anderson's best movie. Is that what you would say?
No, Tenenbaums.
Yeah. Tenenbaums is awesome. I love that. Yeah. Breaking the Waves.
That's very good. You've seen Breaking the Wave? When did you see Breaking the Wave?
I saw it in the theater. It was
scary?
it was too much for me. It was too much.
I'm very surprised that that's on
I
your list.
didn't know what I was getting into. I think Matt took me to that one. A movie with one of the great endings, Big Night.
Big Night was a big movie for me. I love Big Night so much. That's another of these like gems, little
Yeah,
gems
yeah, yeah.
of like, here's a story, here's a movie, this is how you do
It
it.
was great, I guess we should say, to be in one's early 20s or whatever, living in New York and being able to see all these movies as they came out. The final scene of Big Night, Stanley Tucci, Tony Shalhoub, brothers, the restaurant, they've had this huge feud or whatever, and Stanley Tucci comes in the next morning and just makes an omelet for them. Silent. It's really so
One
beautifully
take,
done.
single take, camera doesn't move. It's so nice. Yeah. And the omelet is the right thing. And the non-chef makes the omelet for the chef. It's beautiful.
And then at the end, just puts his arm
And they
around.
have their arms
Yeah,
around each other. It's so
it's
lovely.
beautiful.
Yeah. Great
Yeah.
movie.
When We Were Kings.
Ah, fucking great movie. Love that movie. Your mate George.
Yeah, George Plimpton is in that, and I remember at one point he describes Ali doing the rope-a-dope as being like a man leaning out of a window trying to see on top of his roof. That's a perfect
So
George
good.
Plimpton line there. Ken Branagh's Hamlet from 1996. An unabridged
It's a good
Hamlet.
movie.
Yeah, very good, actually. I saw that year or two ago. Sling Blade.
You've seen Sling Blade? You've seen a lot of the dark ones from this year.
And a movie I think I've seen, which you haven't, Michael Winterbottom's Jude, starring Kate Winslet and Christopher Eccleston. It's an adaptation of Jude the Obscure.
I don't think I have seen that.
Yeah, very good. Very dark.
I do like Michael Winterbottom.
Very dark. All right. Movies from 1996 I have not seen. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Scream.
It always starts with a shitty horror.
You
I should
say
know
this
by
because
now.
of your relationship to horror, but there are plenty of people I know who would be aghast at that. Crash, David Cronenberg.
Okay. That's quite an obscure movie.
Lone Star.
Oh, the John Sayles? I was thinking recently, someone wrote something about Lone Star, and I saw it, and I was like, I saw it in this was maybe the year. Yes, that's right. This was the year I lived in Paris. So I saw Lone Star in Paris, the great theaters of Paris.
What a dick.
I saw it in Paris, as one does.
Oh yes.
And I
Oh
haven't
yes. This was the year I spent in Paris. Yeah. Wonderful.
and I haven't seen it since. I'd be curious to look at that movie again. It's gotten apparently better with age, according to this writer.
Waiting for Guffman.
You've never seen Waiting for Guffman?
No.
That's not too scary. That's just
Yeah.
a mistake by you not to have seen that. It's a genuinely hilarious movie.
Hard Eight.
PT.
P.T. Anderson's first feature.
It's a good movie. It's a very good first movie. I don't know if it's
I don't think there's any that are going to really jump out the way that Casino or Dead Man or Before Sunrise did. How about The Day Trippers?
You've never seen The Day Troopers? You should have seen that, given your association with Stanley Tucci and saying how much you like Big Night. That's another of those jewel little movies, like perfectly well done. It was released in opposition to Godzilla, I remember. So even then there was this debate about like, can there be a small movie, that kind of does something different than the big movie?
Yeah. The Rock.
You've never seen The Rock. How have you avoided The Rock?
I don't know. How about Space Jam?
That'd be hilarious if we did Space Jam.
A Moment of Innocence by one of your countrymen.
Akhmalbov, I don't love that movie.
Okay. Here's a movie I'm sure you love. Twister.
I haven't seen it.
Shine.
The Jeffrey Rush piano movie? John Gielgud saying, "You must love Rachmaninoff."
I think that's a movie that has not aged well. People have, it's
No.
like, yeah.
No.
Happy Gilmore. Primal Fear.
Richard Gere? Is that Richard Gere?
Yeah.
Fucking Gere. He's everywhere. Yeah. No, don't think
The
so.
Birdcage.
The Birdcage is very good. But what do we talk about? It's just a very It's a beautifully polished, wonderful, well done.
Farce.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's very fun, very enjoyable. I think Lone Star, John Sayles, Lone Star.
Lone Star, Waiting for Guffman, or The Day Trippers?
I think you got to go with Lone Star.
Okay.
I should be back in the car next time.
Sounds delish.
All right, cheers.
Bye. And that's that. Next time we head south to explore John Sayles' border town drama Lone Star. Matthew McConaughey plays Chris Cooper's dad in it, which is something. Check it out if you have a chance. Bye for now.